Hey, me Matt here, and yeah, AEW Dynamite is the first to be in the books, and it's amazing. This show definitely had a very good debut. I really enjoyed it, and I think that it's gonna continue to be a great show. We have obviously seen a lot of the pay-per-views leading up to this, so this was a good show, and I'm hoping that we get to see what happens now because we're gonna find out what kind of shit that these guys can do. I can't wait to see what the women's championship will do. While hopefully we'll make a good champion. Chris Jericho versus, I believe, can't remember. Cody. I think that's the last one. And of course, you got to set up for Moxley versus Omega, so who knows? She said, she'll take me anywhere, she'll take me anywhere, as long as she stays with me. She said, she'll take me anywhere, she'll take me anywhere, as long as I stay queen. Kiss, kiss, Molly's lips, kiss, kiss, Molly's lips, kiss, kiss, Molly's lips, kiss, kiss, Molly's lips. Hey, me Matt here, and haven't done this in a while. Talk about AEW Dynamite, LFU, and for good reason. Last night was the 200th episode, and what a historic event. I know that next week, or actually I think it's Rampage, they're gonna be at Daly's place, which I think maybe this should have took place because that's where it all started, but it is what it is. This was a good show, and it's one of those things where kind of wanted to see matches for All In, and we got one, so I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, so we begin the match. We've got Jericho and Takeshita with Don Callis versus Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia. Now, this is kind of interesting to me. I talk about the Bloodline and the Judgment Day breaking up. Well, Judgment Day is not there yet. You look at the Jericho Appreciation Society, and it's almost like it's kind of falling on the wayside. I don't know what's going on. I know that Chris and Don have history together, and it's kind of like that's come back. So this match was scheduled. This was a pretty good match too, and honestly, you didn't know which way it was going to go. And yeah, this was just kind of Chris Jericho taking the pin after Don Callis got involved in winning the match for him and Takeshita. It's like one of those things too where if this is the potential breakup, fucking let's get rid of the Jericho Appreciation Society. And I'm pretty sure they will. Because, I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. I know that in the beginning, where it all began, you had, of course, the Inner Circle, and, it was like Jericho growing from that. Then you have, of course, the Jericho Appreciation Society, and I'm not quite sure what's next. But, as far as I know, I think that it's gonna be the Don Callis family, so to speak, and Chris basically made his choice, So, we'll see what happens. We have, of course, the in-ring excitement. Tony Schiavone who introduces Jungle Boy Jack Perry, or I guess just Jack Perry. He comes out to the ring. He calls out Jerry Lynn, who comes out and basically cuts down Jack, saying that he's against child abuse, and plus, he can't wrestle no more. He has a bunch of plates in his neck and everything else. And so he brings out longtime friend, ECW alumni, Rob Van Dam. So, not only does he make his AEW debut, but he comes out to Walk by Pantera. Fucking right. And I mean, it's one of those things where AEW is old school in the way of you have, obviously, Living Color, you have Europe, and now you have Pantera. So, if Taz ever decides to wrestle or walk alongside his son, maybe bring out Breed by Nirvana, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, so Rob Van Dam comes into the ring. Basically, they have a standoff. You got this point where Jack leaves the ring, gets into the crowd, and sits on a chair holding a little girl, which I thought was pretty funny. Then Jerry Lynn and Rob Van Dam embrace into the ring, and Jack tries to do a sneak attack and misses Rob, and Rob does the high fly kick that he does and misses Jack by this much. So next week it will be Jack Perry versus Rob Van Dam, and yeah, for the FTW champion, which I understand if people are going to be upset because somebody that's older, I guess, is going to be wrestling for a title. But at the same time, it is an ECW original title. And yeah, Rob Van Dam is almost 53, but he could still move pretty damn good. We have an anything goes match, and oh my god. Because you have Jon Moxley versus Penta El Zero Miedo versus Trent Beretta. And this match was very good. I mean, the match started right away. You have a barbed wire 2x4, which basically Trent's bleeding right away. You got John, who brings up the thumbtacks. You have tables. You have just every fucking thing, and it's just like one of the best matches of the night. Obviously, you know, but you basically have, in a surprising turn of events, Chuck Taylor goes over after Moxley clobbers Penta with the paradigm shift. So, yeah, Trent stole the win. Then, of course, the Blackpool Combat Club comes out, and then you've got Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy try to make the save, and this makes a match for next week. A parking lot brawl, which I know there was one last year. I don't remember that, but I'll have to watch it again. But that's going to be also at the Daly's Place next week in Jacksonville, so that should be pretty cool. And then it's pretty fucking cool. You have MJF coming out, and he's really become the face. Like, you have the match with him with Adam Cole, who took on FTR. They lost, and basically Adam had his back turned, waiting for MJF to clobber him. He turns around, and they hug in the ring. So, yeah, this is an MJF face turn, it looks like. And it was a legit, it sounds like a shoot, but it's a legit reason. You know, I kind of think that the whole story of I was bullied, so then I became the bully, and now I want to change. But I think that's pretty awesome. And Cole comes out, says how proud he is of Max and everything, and then they embrace again. You have MJF say, I promised you a match for the championship. It's not going to be a match, it's going to be the match at Wembley Stadium at All Out. So there's your first match for All Out, which is in, well, not a short time. So it's like, why not just pick it up? Pick it up. I'm not sure why they're stalling, really. It's kind of bullshit to me. But yeah, it's one of your biggest pay-per-views of the year, and you're stalling. That's my opinion. Like, what the hell is the rush? You should have had matches made last week, or hell, 2 weeks ago. I'm not sure what happened. Really, I don't know what the fuck is going on around here with this. I just want more they should have more matches. I want to see what they can do, because it's one of your biggest events in All Elite Wrestling, but it's also going to be outside North America in one of the most prestigious venues around the world. So at least they have this. We'll see what happens in Collision or Rampage, you know, like this is kind of one of those things where I think people knock WWE for a lot of shit, but this, to me, is like a very slow build to what is going to happen in a couple weeks. So I want to see what happens between now and the 30th. Because you're running out of time. You have a trios match. You've got the Elite, Kenny Omega, and Young Bucks, who took on Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, and Satnam Singh. You have a standoff between Matt and Satnam, and he goes to try to take in Nick and Kenny, who leave the ring. So eventually the Young Bucks try to take it down Satnam. And then there was a point in the match where Jarrett and Satnam posed as the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, but this was a really good match. And yeah, basically the Elite win, and they announced that they're staying in All Elite. They can wrestle anywhere. Collision, Dynamite, even Ring of Honor, which obviously they have before. So that's 10 years ago now. Or, well, yeah. I'm not sure what that means. Obviously they're still going to be around, and we'll see what happens. But it was kind of okay. They're staying around. Good. You have a match for the Ring of Honor tag team titles. Speaking of which, you got Aussie Open, who took on AAA Mega Champions El Hijo del Vecino and Commander. So I actually didn't know they were the champions. I guess I missed that part, but whatever. This was a pretty good match too. There was a point where you had Vecino and Commander on the top rope. Not the turnbuckle, but the top rope. They walked across and they did a moonsault on the Aussie Open. That was pretty cool. But Aussie Open picked up the win. So you had two good teams, two different styles. I think that's pretty awesome. So Yeah, and it was your main event, AEW Women's Title. You've got Toni Storm with, of course, the Outcast, and she took on AEW Original Akira Shida, and yeah, I mean, of course, there were tactics on the outside with Ruby Soho and Soraya, and that didn't work out. There was a point where Soraya had a kendo stick. Tony and Hikaru were gonna wrestle around with that. Hikaru was gonna use it, but of course, the referee stopped it, and yeah, she hit Soraya and Ruby with the kendo stick, basically throwing it down. Yeah, this was a really good match. You had thought that Tony was gonna win when Paul Turner had his back turned. She had the spray paint, and when sprayed Sheeta in the eyes. So you thought she was gonna win there, and basically it was a roll up by Hikaru Shida, and you knew AEW Women's Champion, which I think is pretty fitting because she is an AEW original there from the beginning. So this was a very good show, and here's to another 200 episodes. And I think this is probably one of the best fucking companies in North America for professional wrestling. Yeah, I know it's your alternative to WWE, but AEW has really come into his own. So we'll see what happens in the near future, but All Out is coming out soon. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, there it is. And I'll talk to you next time. Now walk on home, boy.
Oh, yeah. So you know that them cutting WCW was a long time coming.
Gnarly.
I don't think that's the case at all. If you look at some of this earlier interviews that